Reach for the sky, boy.
All right, hustleites. What is going on, you marktards out there? WrestleMania weekend, night number 2. And of course, you heard the Wango Tango because we got Wango Tango news. Wango Tango breaking news. And it's coming from CNBC. It's not coming from the dirt sheets. It's not coming from, our own imagination or anything else in social media. But before we dive into that real quick, let me introduce my broadcast brethren, okay? He is the most objective, the most scholarly, the most effervescent. He is the most magnanimous. He is the king of the motherfucking hoopla, the most stupendous, and the most glorious man in the IWC, YWC, TWC, FBWC community. Whatever WC is out there, he is the most of it. Chabelo de la Cruz, my brother, why don't you break it down for the people what you found out for us here on the hustle? You are on the scenes, you making the calls, you got your ear to the ground, you got you got the documents, you got your sources out there. What are they telling you about this Wango Tango news?
What's going on, H-Track? What is going on to the hustleites? WrestleMania Night 2, it already is bigger, and not even a match has happened. I know it's going to be, when this goes down, no matches has taken place. But the biggest reality has hit every wrestling fan, and this is big. Now, if the reports are true from CNBC, then by tomorrow or maybe Tuesday the latest, we have a buyer. Track. We have a buyer for the WWE. We have a buyer, and Vince McMahon will get $9 billion. Oh, God, that's a lot of money. That's more than an NBA team right now. That's more than an NFL team. Somebody's going to pay WWE $9 billion for it to be sold. And that buyer is Endeavor, the same company that owns UFC with Dana White. Big fucking news.
Can't believe that shit is happening. What are the details of this? What do we know so far? Because we do know that Vince McMahon, from what we know about early reports, that his whole plan is to still stay in power, which to me would only lead him to be in creative power. Does that mean Triple H is gone? Does that mean Triple H stays? That's the big question right now. What does this mean for creative control as far as Triple H? It may not be the most important thing, but for the wrestling fans out there, it is. We want to know if Triple H is going to stay or is he going to go? Because if Vince McMahon is politicking to stay, the hell is Triple H going to be around for? What is Vince sticking around for in general?
Well, we have to remember
that creative.
Well, again, this is a little bit complicated, hustleites, because there's varying parameters about this. So I'll try to answer it as best as I can from the way I would see fit on a business scale. I'm not going to talk about this as a wrestling fan, because as the wrestling fan, that's actually the lowest priority for it.
What you know about business?
Hey, man.
How many companies have you been selling over the years?
I edify. I teach the masses. There's a lot of things I teach out there. That's
true.
I am the professor for a reason. I'm the professor of sex ed. I'm the professor of business. I am the professor of marketing. I am the professor of a lot of other avenues and departments right now. But again, neither here nor there.
Cocky.
I'm not the professor of that per se, but I do teach it to a degree. But again, let me go back on this. Again, the priority for Endeavor is not the creative just yet. That's the wrestling fans' priority to see where that goes. Endeavor right now, from the way I see it here, is they will be the majority stakeholders, right, Track? So what that means is they would have 51% of the shares of WWE, just like they have 51% of the shares of UFC. So they have controlling stock. They can make determinations of who stays and who goes. So in all avenues right now, Vince McMahon is safe right now to be executive chairman of WWE, executive vice president. His title probably will change again in the Endeavor bubble, but he will be the executive chairman of World Wrestling Entertainment. So I think it's going to be the same way that Endeavor has the business operations of UFC. They let Dana White do his thing in the sense of running UFC, promoting UFC, getting the TV deals for UFC. So every business as usual on the WWE side, as Vince will have that kind of power for WWE. Now here's the tricky part. So I'm going to try to answer for the wrestling fans on the creative standpoint. Vince still has to answer to Endeavor because, again, Track, 51 to 49 still means something. They have the power to tell Vince Triple H can stay. They have the power to tell Vince that certain, people that Triple H likes can stay. But the tricky part is there's going to be some massive layoffs on the WWE side in Titan Tower. Middle management is already has to get their resumes out on Indeed, get their resumes out on LinkedIn, because you can't have two of the same job titles when Endeavor has already got a marketing department. You know what I'm saying? You got a business department in Endeavor. You can't have two departments of the same thing. So WWE personnel on the middle management side, they're already gone. But again, like I said, with 51% of majority stockholders, Vince has got to answer to them. Vince has got to produce the results. So if the ratings go down or if the creative is not good, then Endeavor has the power and has every right to fire Vince at a moment's notice. So there's no way that Vince can swindle his way back in, can manipulate his way to keep the power, so to speak. So again, he's going to have to answer to Endeavor. It's a very complicated situation right now.
Well, this is actually when we were chatting about this. This is what Billy Ray was saying about the whole thing. He's like, I just don't think Vince cares after the company. This is to what you were saying actually. He's like, he doesn't think that Vince cares after the company is sold. He isn't the type to take orders. You said Vince will have to. He said, Billy Ray said, he will do that regardless. You said that he'll have to. Endeavor will expect Vince to make cuts from the corporate office. He said he'll do that regardless. But when things go south, Vince won't get pushed around. He's absolutely right. He will be forced out or quit. Yeah, I think he has a valid point there. We couldn't get all three of us because Billy Ray's busy right now. But as far as his words concerning this whole news that just broke, that's what he had to say. I think he has a valid point. We all know that Vince is not going to be the type to take orders, at least not like that. Answering to the new bosses is very different from answering to the shareholders and whatnot. And he's not gonna. Yeah, I think eventually it does depend on how the product goes from there. And if the product starts, and let me tell you, it comes down to this. I think it does come down to an ego. Because I don't see how UFC has gotten any worse or, monetary wise or whatever. So I don't see them getting rid of Vince at all unless shit gets really, really bad. But I don't see shit getting really, really bad. If it didn't get really, really bad for UFC, I don't see it getting really, really bad for WWE, really. Endeavor's going to go out there and try to, crush the competition or whatever, or maybe they won't, because to be honest, there's other, MMA organizations out there, and you don't see Endeavor trying to crush them. So it may not mean that.
I think this is a different thing. This is a different landscape, Track. I think a lot of people have got to understand this. What they're doing right now, what Endeavor's doing is creating a sports conglomerate. And what I mean by that is for UFC and WWE to have that joint venture together, you could see the possibilities. UFC can pull out of the ESPN Plus deal. WWE can pull out of the Peacock deal. They can now create that, unilateral WWE UFC network. You know what I'm saying, Strack? They can have their own streaming service, get 100% of the profits, get 100% of the revenue for themselves. You can do this is going to be very, very like on a business scale. I'm going to have to quit my Peacock subscription and then go to the UFC WWE subscription. And we don't even know how and there's been talks with Nick Khan saying that they want to come back to like pay-per-views, which is going to make wrestling fans a little bit like, hesitant to do that. I got the WWE Network specifically because I didn't want to pay $50 a month for a pay-per-view. I paid my $50 for WrestleMania. I paid my $50 for Royal Rumble. I stopped. I ain't paying $50 for like Backlash. I ain't paying $50 for like I'm being honest. I got the WWE Network to just
I don't pay for nothing. I don't even pay to watch regular shows. Thanks to top of the internet, I ain't paying for shit.
But if the business landscape is what I see it, Track, WWE with this venture with Endeavor are going to do the same thing that UFC does on ESPN Plus, because I think that ESPN Plus has kind of like a tier, like a bubble package or something. But the pay-per-view itself, the big pay-per-views, you got to still pay for like $50 separately than having that ESPN Plus thing. So I think if they create their own streaming network of UFC WWE, either two ways I can see it. I would do this. If you do a tier like package that let's say like I throw a money sample out, $20 to $25 a month, you're guaranteed every pay-per-view on the WWE calendar. I'll do that, but I'm not paying separately, having the WWE Network for the library and then paying $50 for a monthly pay-per-view. I'm not doing that. I'll find the pirated network. So they're gonna gamble on that to see if people will buy, subscribe to their network. But again, you want to make your customers happy. You do a tier, subscription service. So if you get the whole package, the whole shebang-a-bang, as I would say, the whole bukkake, if you will. $25 a month, you get every WWE pay-per-view, you get every UFC pay-per-view. That's actually, I think that'd be a fair deal for a UFC fan and a WWE fan to like subscribe to a network for the whole library and live pay-per-views. That's just my opinion. But again, I don't know how they want to do that business venture just yet, because I'm still soaking in the potential of Endeavor acquiring WWE for $9 billion. People thought that $9 billion was too expensive for Vince. Vince actually was right again.
Listen, when I heard $9 billion, it sounded about right to me. I'm like, I wouldn't ask for anything less than that. I didn't think he was crazy for asking for that. And to be honest with you, with the billionaires we have, I didn't even think it was out of too many people's price range. There was a ton of people I had in my head who I could say could have bought the WWE if they wanted to. Freaking Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos. Anthem probably could have bought the WWE if they wanted to. How is that? Imagine if Anthem bought the WWE.
But Track, think about this. Like right now, I'll use an example. The NFL, the Washington Redskins, the Commanders, whatever you want to call them, right? That company, that team right now is worth $6.5 billion. WWE is more lucrative, more expensive than the Washington Commanders. Think about that. So they're, and the NFL prints money. They print billions. So if WWE is more expensive than the Washington Commanders, that speaks volumes. That's why people thought it was crazy that Vince even thought $9 billion. People thought probably that WWE was worth like in the $4 to $6 billion range, which probably would seem more fairer. But he got if he's gonna get $9 billion, then Vince is a business genius.
I mean, listen, and when it comes to business deals and stuff like that, we could never try to play Vince or try to hate on him, because I've said the genius of what he's done with these streaming deals and the rights to the streaming rights or whatever to the product, it has them garner up so much money that it doesn't even matter who the face of the company is. You can put Roman Reigns as the face and say whatever the fuck you want, because I've said this before, because you made so much money. Tonight, if Cody wins, he'll be the face. It doesn't matter if Cody is drawing money. They're already drawing money. It just sold the damn company. Well, they not yet, but they're about to sell the company for $9 billion, and they're gonna pump more money into that. And it's gonna be very interesting to see. If Endeavor, like I said, we look at the UFC product. If you're gonna have any theories or hypothesis on what can happen, and you're taking what they do at UFC.
Let me just say one thing, Trey. I just want to be, before I even forget, I have a brain fart. But you see the potential with this partnership right now? We might get the fight that we've been asking for, the real fight. And you know who?
Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley in the octagon, baby. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can finally fucking get that. And maybe and see, this is one thing we need to think about. But first, let me finish what I was going to say before I go there. I was going to say, if you have theories or hypotheses on what can happen, and you're taking what they're doing with UFC as the lead of your theory, I can understand that. So, go ahead, have at it. Just think about what they've been doing with the UFC and apply that to what can be happening with the WWE. Now, Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar in an octagon would be freaking phenomenal. They have to try to get that going. They have to try to convince both men to take this from the right now. See, everybody is speculating if Bobby is going to make an appearance tonight. A lot of people are anyway, because they put him in that battle royal, which ain't shit, even though he won, and he was supposed to face Bray, and he didn't, and he got fucked over, not through any fault of his own. If Bray is really hurt, then it's unfortunate. If some creative issues happen, then he got fucked over through no fault of his own. But to put it together in an angle where Bobby or Brock challenges one another to an actual UFC fight after the deal is done, and then they promote that. They bring it from WWE to UFC. That shit right there is fucking gold. That is the greatest.
You could build that tonight. You actually build it tonight.
Tonight, it would be the single greatest angle in wrestling history. Okay, to take an angle from wrestling and bring it to the octagon, to a real fight, is just something undreamt and unheard of. You would never thought you would see it. I mean, of course, this is a speculation. It's fantasy booking, but it's fantasy booking that makes sense. Why not try it? Why not try it? Now, the only drawback, UFC fans, a lot of UFC fans who are not wrestling fans, and wrestling fans who are not UFC fans, but the UFC fans will probably be like, is this real or is this some work? Because you only brought the WWE, this man still works for them. Him and Dana White probably got together. This fight is fixed. Yada, yada, yada. They're just going to bring it right back to wrestling all over again. That would be a lot of
wrestling fans bring that energy to the UFC, because Brock Lesnar brought the eyes of the world to the UFC because of the WWE.
Yo, we're gonna get Kobe Covington versus Logan Paul, bro. That's gonna be WrestleMania next year main event. Kobe Covington versus Logan Paul. We getting it, yo. We getting it. Amanda Nunes is coming into the WWE. She's coming after Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Next year, it's gonna be Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Bianca Belair and Amanda Nunes. Straight up, WrestleMania. Yo, I'm happy about this, man. I'm happy. I'm generally happy. This is gonna be the shit.
The possibilities are endless on the booking scale. Like I said, I think Bobby Lashley is going to help Omos, and Hurt Business 2.0 is going to happen, because that's the best way to use Bobby right now. But from that, you can do the fantasy booking that we're talking about. Again, it's all speculation, hustleites, but it is foreseeable and it's doable, because, it's right there in front of our faces. But on the business landscape right now, again, there's a lot of possibilities for a synergy network between Dana White and Vince McMahon. Again, think about it this way with the WWE Network track. That great Power Slap? Power Slap could go on the WWE Network. WWE won't even care. Power Slap will be on Rumble and the WWE Network. And because they will do it for the greater business end of it. That's what it is. There's a lot of possibilities here because of what Endeavor's allowing this. And I think for wrestling fans, everybody had their political reasons. Oh, let's not have the Saudis on it. Let's not have the Saudis on it. And I'll say this:
that's not happening.
Saudis could have paid $20 billion, and Vince would have been, Vince would have took that. But I would say Vince is a narcissist. He does not want to sell his baby to somebody that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, or doesn't.
But that's why he was staying around.
Yeah, that's why he wanted to. That was one of the deals for Vince to sell the WWE. He had to still be involved some way, shape, or form of the business operations. So Saudis was not going to offer that. You could tell that. Comcast and Fox probably like I said months ago, I think they didn't want Vince involved with that. They wanted Triple H to take Vince's place. Vince was not going to have that. But we all thought that Comcast was actually going to do it because they had so much invested in it. Fox had so much invested in it. But again, if they have their issues with Vince McMahon, Endeavor made all the sense in the world. But we heard months ago that Endeavor didn't want to be a part of it because they have accumulated so much debt themselves. So was it a great business opportunity here? So they're really projecting big things with this purchase right now. So again, this is a big investment for Endeavor. So we know we're going to see more things on the business scale. Again, like I said, I see a streaming service between UFC and WWE as uniting themselves with a big, massive library. You do that. I don't know if you're going to do any cross promotions. It makes all the sense in the world. We already talked about Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar going to the octagon for a real fight. So the possibilities are endless. But this is
they're gonna have a brawl for all version in UFC. They're gonna bring back the brawl for all for real. And you know what I'm saying? Yo, it's like even like I believe they're probably, when that Peacock deal ends, they're probably gonna come together and put everything together on one website, UFC and WWE. I think that's gonna happen in the future. I think unless NBC offers more money, but whenever that deal is over with, I believe if this goes through, I do see Endeavor starting their own shit and putting WWE up there with UFC just to have it all in one big thing.
Yeah, one big umbrella. But again, Dana White has done his thing.
UFC ladder matches, bro. UFC ladder matches. Shout out to JoJo Smith, who just posted that on social media. UFC ladder matches in the octagon, baby. That's what I want to see.
You want to see ladder matches? I want to see UFC fatal four ways.
Fatal four ways, tag team matches in the octagon, son.
I don't know if you could do a UFC trios match because that'd be kind of
Did you see that video when they had the MMA battle royal?
They did.
When they had an MMA battle. They just had dudes in the cage. It wasn't UFC. It was some shit, I think, in Russia. It was just a bunch of dudes. Everybody was just hitting each other. That's what we're gonna get. It's gonna be more structured. But that being said, we just wanted to come to y'all. We just wanted to hit y'all with this video and let y'all know what was going down. We had to talk about it because it's just, it was breaking news, and it seems like, it might just be happening. Like I said, this is the CSNBC reporting this. This is not some dirt sheet shit. Of course, I'm sure the dirt sheets are already in full effect, But so night 2, WrestleMania, main event, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. I think we're going to get a Rock appearance. I think. That's my prediction is The Rock appears to help fight off the bloodline or some shit like that and tells them to leave or something like that. I think we're going to get Rock versus Roman at SummerSlam. And that's just what I think. That's just my because The Rock right now, he ain't having a good year. The Rock is not having a good year. And we all know when you're a wrestler and Hollywood starts failing, you come back to where you belong to get some love from the people who already helped make you that star in the first place. So
I already see it. I can foresee it. Rock comes in with his Black Adam uniform. He comes in, he comes down to the ring, and you can see you have lightning bolts, with the lights and stuff like that going crazy at night. Oh my God, he could take out Solo Sikoa. He could take out the Usos with his Black Adam magic. Oh, it'd be great. I can see that. It works.
It's gonna be a very interesting night. Like I said, I enjoyed WrestleMania yesterday. I give it a 7.5. Very good show. Very well entertained. And let's see how night 2 goes tonight. And hopefully we will come to you guys. We will drop a video later tonight for a review, depending on how late this ends. I don't know if the professor will still be up, but we'll try to get something up. And if we don't get something up by the night, then look for us next week. Q, let them know where they can find you, bro.
You can find me on my Twitter at PWHustle That's PWHustle And you can find me on the Podbeams, on the Hami Media Group at podbeam.com, where I host the most nostalgic podcast out there, the Pro Wrestling Reflection, with myself and the Tommy Wonder.
And you can find me right here, YouTube, the reactions, and on the Hustle fandom group, bugging the fuck out, as well on Twitter at 8trackbrown, the number 8, TRAC Brown. So, yo, we will see you guys later. Enjoy WrestleMania. Let's hope we get a better show than we had yesterday. Not to say that it was bad, just let's hope we get something better, so we can even be more better, so we can have an amazing Royal Rumble. I see a lot of people saying last night was one of the greatest. I'm like, all right, nigga, calm down. It was good, but come on. But tonight,
it was a bona fide 9. I put that on the Hustle page.
A what?
A bona fide 9.
Okay, you gave it a bona fide 9. I gave it a bona fide 7.5. That's not a bad score because I thought the show was good. So see you guys later. Enjoy WrestleMania. Peace.